It's exactly 6 a.m. on April 28, 2006. A freezing, bone-chilling rain is washing over the dense, unyielding woods of Citizens Park in Belleville, Illinois. Under the pitch-black canopy of the trees, a team of exhausted police detectives is moving in a slow, frantic line, their boots sinking deep into the mud. They are waving flashlights through the thick ground mist, scanning every ravine, every hollow log, and every pile of dead leaves. They are looking for a body. Specifically, they are looking for 17-year-old Ashley Reeves, a vibrant, popular high school student who vanished into thin air exactly 30 hours ago. The primary suspect, a man they've been interrogating for hours in a windowless room, finally cracked, drawing a crude, shaky X on a map and telling them they would find her remains dumped deep in the underbrush. Suddenly, a detective's flashlight beam freezes on a patch of flattened brambles. He lunges forward, pulling back the heavy, wet branches. There, lying flat on her back in the freezing mud, is Ashley. Her face is severely bruised. Her neck bears horrific marks of extreme physical trauma, and she is completely motionless. The detective turns his head away, his heart dropping as he prepares to call in a coroner. But just as he reaches for his radio, a sound cuts through the humid silence of the woods. A tiny, wet, microscopic gasp. Ashley's eyelids flutter. Against every single law of medical science, after 30 hours abandoned in the freezing mud, her heart is still beating. To understand how a 17-year-old girl ended up fighting for her life in the dark heart of the state park, you have to wind the clock back to the morning of Thursday, April 27th. It was a completely ordinary, routine school day. Ashley Reeves was a bright, energetic teenager who loved her family, her friends, and had her entire future stretched out ahead of her. But behind the ordinary facade of her high school routine, Ashley was dealing with a complicated, deeply confusing relationship. She had crossed paths with a 26-year-old local man named Samson Shelton. Shelton was a trusted figure in the community, a local driver and family acquaintance who had positioned himself as a helpful mentor to Ashley. But over the preceding weeks, Shelton's behavior had mutated from supportive to intensely possessive, controlling, and manipulative. On that Thursday afternoon, Ashley told her mother she was heading out to a local job interview. Instead, she stepped into Samson Shelton's car, intending to have a serious, final conversation to cut ties and end the complicated dynamic once and for all. She had zero idea that she was walking directly into a meticulously engineered trap. By midnight, Ashley's parents were living inside a waking nightmare. Her phone went straight to voicemail, her friends hadn't seen her, and she had never arrived at any job interview. The Belleville Police Department immediately launched a high-priority missing persons protocol, and as they pulled Ashley's cellular records, one name kept flashing across the digital logs: Samson Shelton. Detectives swarmed Shelton's residence, bringing him into the precinct under intense, blinding fluorescent lights. For hours, Shelton played the role of the concerned, completely innocent family friend. He claimed he hadn't seen Ashley in days, spinning a complex, polished web of absolute lies. But lead detective St. Clair didn't buy the performance. He laid out a massive stack of cell tower triangulation maps, proving that Shelton's vehicle had been idling inside Citizens Park for hours on the exact afternoon Ashley vanished. The legal net was tightening. Under the crushing, psychological weight of the evidence, Shelton's composure utterly shattered. He began to weep, confessing that a violent argument had erupted inside his car and that he had forcefully, repeatedly attacked Ashley until she stopped moving, dragging her lifeless body deep into the woods to hide his crime forever. The moment the ambulance roared into the bay at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, the medical staff took one look at Ashley and prepared themselves for the absolute worst. Her body temperature had plummeted to a lethal 76 degrees Fahrenheit. She was suffering from profound hypothermia, severe brain swelling, and her airway was heavily compromised from the brutal mechanical trauma to her neck. Dr. Robert Flood, the lead trauma surgeon, later noted that her survival for 30 hours in the freezing mud without food, water, or medical attention was an absolute, statistical impossibility. She had survived purely on raw human will. The trauma team placed her into a medically induced coma, surrounding her body with specialized warming blankets to slowly, carefully raise her core temperature without triggering a fatal cardiac arrest. Outside the glass doors, her family huddled together in the dark corridor, completely paralyzed by grief, as doctors warned them that even if Ashley survived the night, the profound lack of oxygen to her brain meant she would likely remain in a permanent, unresolvable vegetative state. The monster had stolen her voice, and the medical charts predicted she would never speak again. But Ashley Reeves was not done defying the math of the universe. Days turned into weeks, and as the heavy sedation was slowly pulled back from her system, her eyes opened. She couldn't move her legs. She couldn't form words, but she could blink. Through an agonizing, heroic process of physical and speech therapy, Ashley began the grueling mountain climb to reclaim her life. She literally had to relearn how to swallow, how to sit up, and how to use her vocal cords. In 2007, Samson Shelton stood inside a crowded Illinois courtroom, preparing to face justice. He assumed the state would rely strictly on police logs and forensic photos. But the heavy courtroom doors swung open, and walking through the threshold under her own power was Ashley Reeves. She looked her attacker dead in the eyes, her voice completely restored, and delivered a devastating victim impact statement that permanently sealed his fate. Shelton pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree murder and was sentenced to 20 years behind bars. Ashley's miraculous survival is a profound, beautiful testament to the unbendable strength of the human spirit. She proved that even when an absolute monster drags you into the dark and leaves you for dead, the light inside you can refuse to go out. I want to hear from you guys on this incredible survival story. Are you as absolutely blown away as I am by Ashley Shear will to survive 30 hours in those freezing woods? Let's talk about it down in the comments below, and please keep the discussion deeply encouraging and respectful. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, look out for one another, and I'll see you in the next deep dive. Bye.